Shalom, call all y'all about Shem Shah. Shalom to the elect. In this video, I just want to go on about how these countries are still stocking up their arsenal on nuclear weapons and missiles, other missiles. In this country, Turkey, is fulfilling prophecy as well, because the scripture right here says that the weak say I'm strong. Turkey was actually like more of they had a little military history, but they mainly was an agriculture type place. I'm gonna get into this. In the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, that the weak say I'm strong. And that's what these countries doing. Because they see America got this stockpile of nuclear weapons, so they trying to stockpile this shit too. They know that's the only way to keep them from coming in and try to force their authority or whatever. That's this other video I got saved up and queued up over here. I was just looking at the news and stuff while I was out on the go. And this stuff is biblical. This goes to show that the stuff written all those years ago. Because back then, they ain't had no nukes. When the scriptures was written back then. So when you see this, let me go to it. Maybe I'm going to jump on one more verse in the book of Joel and I read it. It says in the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, which the Turkish people, they are Gentiles. And you have Israel scattered over there, because I'm familiar with some brothers, some Akim that's actually out there in Istanbul, Turkey right now, where they scattered amongst the Gentiles. Now it says, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's what you see going on. And I'm going to show something else in this other video too. And they say this is homegrown. But they can actually buy some. If somebody come want to do some type of deal with them, eventually they gonna get fed up with the little sanctions and all the other little stuff, and they just gonna pull a Venezuela and say, fuck it, we still gonna do business with Iran or Russia, whoever it is. Yeah. This scripture in the book of Isaiah. There's still people that think it's some other stuff that's going to cause the lick of fire over here in Babylon. When you look at nuclear weapons, you go into the word smith, which I brought out recently. Which, another indication of who Esau is, when you go into the word smith, they actually got weapons called Smith & Wesson.
You're resilient, fearless, stronger than all expectations.
And that was Esau blessing the sword, the gun, the weapons. That's his blessing.
Natural supplements to improve hair growth. For hair as strong as you are.
That's how you go around using that shit every damn way. Now hold on, before I let that play, let's go into the definition of smith. Say smith, a worker in metal, treat metal by heating, hammering, forging it. Let's see. It said denoting a person skilled in creating something with a specified material. Got some more definitions too. I say the name refers to a smith, originally deriving from smio, a smith, the old English term meaning one who works in metal, related to the word smitten, the old English form of smite, which also means to strike. That's early 17th century biblical English. The verb to smite or to hit. So these nukes, these missiles that they got, that they haven't talked about, a lot of people, they forgot about what happened over there when they killed that general. Now they declaring that, they saying, I gotta find the video again, and I'll pull it up. They're basically saying that's That's an international war crime. So Iran could declare war on America at any moment, just for them doing that, because they got every right to. And they can do what the fuck they want to do. Because it's basically, just say somebody came and took out the vice president or the general or some shit like that. They're gonna be ready to go to war. They're gonna be ready to invade the country. Now, the scripture right here is in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." And that's what they're gonna do. These nukes, they're gonna destroy. That second death, that lake of fire, that's what's gonna be happening once these nukes touch down. And if you got any sense and you any type of mind frame of trying to be on the righteous path, you'll be trying to stay on that because you ain't trying to feel that. Like I said in previous videos, I'm sure people don't feel hot water, felt the heat on the stove on accident, or probably burnt yourself or a flame or some type of oil or whatever. If you can't take that, who make you think you're gonna let me go to the exact temperature of a nuke, just one nuke by itself? They say a primary form of energy from a nuclear explosion is thermal radiation. Initially, most of this energy goes into heating the bomb materials and the air in the vicinity of the blast. Temperatures of a nuclear explosion reach those in the interior of the sun. So just man, that's hot as fuck. You, most people, they can't even look at the sun. So just imagine that shit right there in your face, literally. It says about 100 million degrees Celsius. That's fucking, man. It says, and produce a brilliant fireball. That's why, let's see what's right. It says, on the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Uh, Let me read on down because a lot of people they don't grasp what's really about to happen, man. And then you tell somebody about it, they laugh or shun it off like, oh, that ain't gonna happen. What you got planned in the next 10 years? No, yeah, all right. It says in the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse 9. Oh, better yet, almost started verse 8. It says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord Yahweh as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day." So 1,000 years of us is one day with the Lord. So his time frame is completely different than us. What we might see is like, oh, that's taking forever. Ain't nothing but a few milliseconds to him. Now, verse 9, it says, "Yahweh is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to us, but not willing that any should perish, but all should come to repentance." And they're all mainly talking about the elect, because everybody's not going to be trying to repent. Even when the stuff hit the fan, or shit hit the fan, I should say, you're going to have people still blaspheming the Most High, or whatever, blaspheming his name. Because they're going to be like, why are you doing this to us, or whatever. Well, hey, he was being long-suffering, letting people get a chance to get themselves together, bringing all these signs and wonders, having people going into the scriptures, breaking them down, warning them, let them know what's going on, and what they want to do. Now, verse 10 says, "But the day of the Lord Yahweh will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat." Now, you actually seen videos when they launch these missiles, they make a certain sound. If you've been near a military base and they test stuff out or whatever, they make a certain sound when they hit the atmosphere. That's why I was talking about the heavens passing away, because heaven ain't going nowhere. But it's just a parabolic terminology, I should say. It's talking about that noise, how it make it seem like it'd be all clear. The next thing you know, you got this great noise up in the atmosphere, It says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Man, what's gonna do this? 100 million degrees Celsius. No, but see, people bugging out. They bugging out with this mass shit. How you think people gonna be acting when they look up in the air and see these fucking nukes covering the damn sky? Because they coming.
Is snubbing the United States' plans to hold nuclear disarmament talks with them and Russia. China seems to be suggesting that the United States is not serious about disarmament. In fact, it is saying that it would be, quote, China's word here, happy to attend the meeting if and when the United States reduces its arsenal to match China's. We checked the numbers. Presently, China has about 320 nuclear warheads. Russia has the most, by the way, with about 6,500, while the United States has roughly 6,000. With more on this Sino pushback, here is RT correspondent John Huddy.
President Donald Trump and other U.S. officials are urging China to join nuclear arms negotiations between the U.S. and Russia. But Beijing's top arms negotiator said that's not going to happen unless the U.S. makes certain concessions first, like reducing its own arsenal and staying out of China's neighborhood.
There's a huge gap between the nuclear arsenals of China and the U.S. And people have reason to be concerned when the U.S. not only expands its nuclear arsenal or upgrade its nuclear arsenal, and at the same time building all the missile defense systems and deploying them in China's neighborhood.
The back and forth between China and the U.S. comes as both countries are actively practicing military maneuvers in the East China and South China Sea. As far as the nuclear warhead numbers, the U.S. and Russia hold more than 90% of the world's nuclear weapons. That, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Russia has 6,375 nuclear warheads, including those that are not deployed. The United States has 5,800. In contrast, China has 320, France 290, and the UK 215. Kong said China believes the U.S. pressure on China to join the talks is simply a ruse.
We are ready to have a dialogue with all those countries who have real interest in controlling the arms. But we have no interest to play games with anyone. For us, this trilateral negotiation is nothing but a hoax, to use the word of the U.S. president. It's nothing more than a hoax.
Yeah, it's a hoax. It's like this COVID shit is a fucking hoax.
And the game that China refuses to do.
And that's Esau for you, man. I ain't gonna play no more of that. Let me go into a few more scriptures. I'm gonna end this off. I ain't wanna make this too long. It's in the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. It says, the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's Esau for you. That's how you think they got this land, man. They come with their little treaties. Oh, we need help doing this. Learn how to till the land. Learn how to fish. Then next thing you know, they slaughtering the women and the kids in the village, killing them all, putting them into slavery, going to war with them, trying to wipe them out. And the ones that's still alive, they put them in captivity. They've been doing the same rhetoric. They go to these countries, bullying them into submission, and then they bring their democracy and republican. But now you got these other nations, like the scripture say, let the weak sound strong. Hey, these nations, they like, hold up, man, fuck y'all. Hey, you heard the guy say, it's a hoax. Because they want to talk like it's, oh yeah, we going to have peace talks and a treaty. Anytime Esau make a treaty, they've been known to break that shit. Better yet, let me go into the scripture and go into that real quick. Let me see if this one I look for. Hold on 1 minute, let me find this scripture. It's in the book of Exodus, chapter 34, verse 12, which this pertaining back then and to now. It says, take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest. Let it be for a snare in the midst of it, because it's a snare. That's how Esau get down. They set a little trap. But you look at the other translations, it says treaty instead of a covenant. It says, be careful not to make a treaty with the inhabitants of the land you are entering, lest it become a snare and you'll miss. Because as soon as you do a deal with these damn devils, they pull the rug from up under you and be like, oh, well, we had these terms right here that we mentioned, but you ain't see it. And then they been on slid some extra shit in there. Oh, they just don't they straight up cutthroat. They don't even give a fuck. They be like, look, yeah, so what, we made a treaty. Yeah, we said you can get the land, but we want to get it back. So these damn devils, man, they got a lot to pay for. That's why this scripture right here gonna come to pass. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 14. I'm just in this off of this. Like I said, I ain't want to make this too long. It says, put yourselves in array against Babylon all around. All you who bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord Yahweh. And that's what you're going to see happen, man. Look at all these are the arrows.
As far as the nuclear warhead numbers, the U.S. and Russia hold more than 90% of the world's nuclear weapons.
Those are arrows. That's that glittering sword that the scripture's talking about.
To the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute.
Hey,
Russia
man,
has
hey, stay alert, man.
6,375 nuclear warheads,
This place
including
ain't got
those
no
that are
much
not
longer.
deployed.
You can look into
The United States has
He saw
5,800.
monuments coming down
In
and stuff. I'm gonna
contrast,
make a video
China
on
has
that.
300.
The ones willing, I can speak on that. About the monuments, how each civilization right before they was about to collapse. Even when our people was so-called in power, whatever, what they do, they take down the monuments, the statues, and different stuff like that. Take certain goods back to the areas, whether it be gold or silver or certain valuables. So man, Esau through, man. These Edomites, which say they not the Edomites, but they really are. They fucking through, man. So those ones edifying. Call all y'all by Shem Shah. Blah blah blah.